Hi, this is Jason Fielder with the Daily Forex Report for August 5th. We're looking at the US Japanese yen pair. This pair is moving, closed up today, is pretty much moving sideways and has a bias to the upside at this point. Now, I'm looking for this next session's range to be between 108.71 and on the lower side around 107.38. As far as support, looking pretty much at the same level, right about this level. And as far as moving higher, I anticipate it running into some resistance a little bit lower than our range at 108.40. Now looking over at the Euro USD pair, this pair just fell today, collapsed, moved lower. And we have, I'm looking for the market to be between 156.13 and 154.06. This market's moving down. The bias is to the downside. I'm looking for some support to come into the market pretty much at the same level as this point at the 15400 level. And as far as resistance, I'm looking for resistance to come into the market around 155.76. Now looking over at the pound dollar pair, this pair moved lower today. Actually closed about 7 or 8 pips lower than I had anticipated, but did move on through that area, but pulled back before the close. This pair is closed down today. It's moving down. The bias is to the downside, and we're definitely moving lower. Now I'm looking for this session to be between 196.60 on the very high side and on the low side around 194.76. I'm looking for some support to come into the market a little bit lower at 194.60, and on the higher side looking for resistance to come into the market a little bit lower than our range at 196.28. By the way, if you would have gone ahead and sold short at the open here and gotten out at our target, would have been around 78 pips profit for that particular trade had you taken it. Now looking at the US Swiss, this pair broke out to the upside today, out above some previous resistance. This pair is moving up, and the bias is to the upside at this point. I'm looking for the range for this next session to be between 10593 and on the lower side 1.0449. Now, as far as resistance goes, looking for resistance to come into the market at 1.0550, and on the low side looking for some support to come into the market a little bit above the range at 1.0480. Now that's looking at the four major pairs. We do have 2 other pairs I want to take a quick look at. They have my favorite setup, and I just wanted to show them to you to kind of give you an idea of what I'm looking for. We have a large bar up, moved up. The body's pretty full considering the overall range. And then we have an inside bar that moved down. Now what I'm looking for is a break above this high. And if the market can do that, if it can break above it, I'm going to go ahead and draw a line here. And then I'm looking on the upside for this level, the 0.8000 level. And what I'll do tomorrow, assuming that it breaks above this point during this next session, I'll go ahead and drop down to the 4-hour time frame, possibly to the 1-hour time frame, and get a little more specific about my entries. But I'm definitely looking for a break above this point to go long, looking for the 0.8000 level as a potential target. Now looking over at the pound Swiss, we have a similar setup, opposite direction. We have the market moved down sharply, then pulled back, created an inside day, and I'm looking for a break below this low. Now, if this occurs, if it comes on down and breaks this low, then I'm looking for the 2.0437 level. So I'm looking for it to go ahead, push through this level, and basically about around 100 pips is what I'm looking for. Here again, during this next session, a break of this point, I'll go ahead and draw those lines, move to the 4-hour, possibly down to the 1 hour to get my entry a little more narrowed in, a little more focused, and go ahead and look to take that trade. Now, looking as far as what occurred during this last session, we had the Australian bank held their rates at 7.25%. Of course, this did not stop the Australian US dollar from continuing its drop down. The Eurozone had their retail sales. It was down from month to month as well as year to date. The monthly figures were as expected, but the yearly figures came in at negative 3.1%, almost double what was expected. So this was not favorable to the euro. We had the US FOMC announcement that came out. It came out as expected, 2%. They held the rates, and their verbiage was such that they're watching inflation and kind of hinted towards the fact that a rate hike is coming. It's down the road a little bit, but it is definitely coming. Now, as far as tomorrow, the Japanese have their leading index for June being released at 1 a.m. That's Eastern time. It's the consensus is that it's dropped a little bit, so you may want to keep an eye on that. The Canadians have their Purchasing Managers Index for June or July, sorry, being released. It also looks like it has dropped, and at 6:45 p.m. Eastern time, the New Zealand dollar has their employment change for the second quarter being released, and it appears like it will be up for the month or for the quarter, but overall down for the year to date. So until tomorrow, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.